Omaha's news leader, chronicling the stories and people making a difference in our community. This is KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.
Good morning and thanks for joining us here on Chronicle today. I'm David Earl. Valentine's Day is just around the corner and that might have you thinking about finding a sweetheart. This morning we're going to talk about finding love right here in Omaha. Plus, if you're on those dating apps, we'll talk with the police about how to stay safe if you're meeting someone for the first time. And later this morning, the billion-dollar Valentine's Day industry by the numbers. All right, let's start with finding a date. That's the first step, right? Courtney Quinlan is the CEO at Midwest Matchmaking, which owns OmahaLove.com. Maybe you've seen their billboards around town. Courtney, thanks for joining us here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you're a matchmaker. I guess if you're going to go to a dinner party and describe your job, how do you do that?
If I was to go to a dinner party and describe my job, I would say that basically I connect two quality singles who are very busy and selective and come to me seeking like-minded people. They have everything in life that they want. They're just looking for someone to share it with, and I get the joy of bringing them together.
Yeah, so how did you get into this?
Honestly, it was really by chance. So I was looking for jobs out of college and found a good job at a dating service and really loved what I was doing, but didn't necessarily agree with some of their concepts. I saw a better way to do it, which is why I started my business in 2009.
Yeah, so the business here in Omaha is Omaha Love. It's not just you, right? You've got a team of people that are helping you make these connections.
Right, we have a team of 7 of us, and we service the entire Midwest now. So there's been a lot of growth. It's been really exciting, and we're never bored.
Yeah, what brings you joy about your job?
I get to connect people who come to me with, like I said, they're seeking one thing in life that they don't have, and being able to bring them that happiness. I don't think there's anything better than being able to find someone love. Okay, so Valentine's Day is fast approaching here. I wonder, is this a busy time of year for you, or are there other times of year where people are more interested in looking for a match? So I do think it's a busy time of year for us. I mean, I would say there's never a slow season for us. I really do believe everybody wants to find someone to share life with. Everything's a little bit more special when you have someone to share it with. However, these past few weeks and these next couple weeks to come are definitely going to be exceptionally busy for us.
Yeah. I wonder, I have to ask this question because obviously the dating space right now is getting disrupted, right? There's a lot of people who have now downloaded apps, hoping that they can help them make the connections. And so how do you guys compete with those disruptors that are out there now?
In all honesty, I don't view the apps and the online dating sites as competition. In fact, it's a lot of what brings us more business. People who have had really negative experiences with those sites or those apps end up coming to us because they're just not working for them.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I have to admit I've gone on a few of those app dates and I am still single right now. And, a lot of the 20-somethings or the 30-somethings who I'm friends with, who I talk with, who are single about this, there's just kind of like an exhaustion that comes with the way that those apps are set up and developed. And I wonder, it seems like it would bring you more business from the people who are exhausted with swiping, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the people that come to us are people who are busy professionals like yourself who go to work, go to the gym, go home. The last thing they want to do is get online and have their second job be online dating and weeding through all these people on their own, which is why they hire us.
Yeah. So, how is a date that you set up different from what somebody would experience on one of those apps?
So it's very different. We pretty much weed out all of the swiping, the emailing, the chatting, and get them face to face. So once we've established there's mutual interest between two parties, we do everything. We set up the time, we set up the place based on location and availability at a neutrally located spot that's safe. All we exchange are phone numbers. That way they can confirm the date in case somebody gets sick or anything happens, they can get a hold of each other. And it's literally set up for a 45-minute cocktail or coffee. They're adults. If they want to have dinner, they can.
Yeah. When you're matching people together, how does that work? What are the characteristics you're looking for in a date for somebody?
So people come to us and we go through a series of questions to get to know them, figure out their personalities, figure out what's really important to them, and then of course deal breakers. And in all honesty, what I do with Midwest matchmaking is based on intuition. I've been doing it so long, I've had so much experience that I just really know when two people are right for each other. But I do keep in mind the obvious deal breakers and the main preferences that they want when I'm looking at matches.
Yeah, so you know, outside of the app scene, there's obviously a lot of websites that try to do the same thing, right? eHarmony, Match.com. What you do is different from even those sites too, right?
Right. I mean, because eHarmony and Match.com, it's a robot that hasn't met these people, that can't say these people are even real, that can't verify their photos are real, them, or maybe 20 years them before. So we eliminate all of that. I mean, we even take professional headshots and make sure that everybody has those shots taken in our office.
Okay, so walk me through this. You know, somebody comes to you and they say, okay, I want to go on this journey. You know, what is that process like? Obviously, there's headshots involved. Are you seeing people that you would go on a date before you go on the date with them, or how does that work?
Yes, so we don't do blind dating. There are other services in the country that do. It's not something I personally would feel comfortable with, so that's not how I modeled my business.
Okay.
So we show our clients a picture or two and a pretty complete profile about the person that we're matching them with. So they ultimately get to say yes or no. We will not force two people to meet each other. We may try to turn around a decline if we feel it's a really good match for them. We understand that pictures and profiles are one-dimensional, and sometimes we have to explain that to our clients.
Yeah, when you talk about the complete profile, I mean, what is going into that? What do you tell about yourself to see what you like in the other person, you know?
So we keep our profiles pretty basic. We don't do a bunch of personality tests or use astrology or any kind of other things that some of the websites do. We keep it basic. So we'll have age, religion, political views, if they have kids, if they smoke, if they drink, if they exercise, what their occupation is, and then basic hobbies, interests, ideal first dates, goals. It's really, really simple one-page profile, and like I said, one or two professional headshots.
Yeah, so you know, outside of the one-on-one dates, there are also some mingling opportunities, right? That you guys like to host events where maybe singles can get to know each other in a larger space. Tell me about those.
So we do host social events. I say it's a perk of our service.
Okay.
They're a really good way for singles to get out there and meet other singles, get practice talking to people. We have a speed dating event coming up in March. We have our annual Flirt Fest event coming up February 9th. And we do a lot of different activities. Speed dating is probably our most popular one. People are really intrigued by it. And I think it's wonderful practice for somebody who hasn't been on a date for a while, because they get to go on 12 dates in one night.
Yeah, so what is the intriguing thing about speed dating? I mean, are people drawn to it because it is practice almost? I
think that movies have really publicized speed. I always hear the scene in Hitch. So I always hear about movies. Well, I saw it on a movie. I think speed dating is intriguing to people because they want to know what it's about. I think that it makes them nervous, but at the same time, it really does force them to get out of their comfort zone. But they also have 3 minutes where they can walk away if this isn't someone they're interested in. Yeah, so you've been doing this a while, and I'm sure you have plenty of success stories, but I mean, can you share one with us just briefly about like your favorite story of two people finding love? Oh my goodness, I literally have thousands of people that I've connected. Probably one that comes to mind that's current and that I really like are two people that came in, and neither of them had any problem meeting someone. I mean, very attractive, established man and woman, and really had everything going for them, but both were just not getting exposure to the quality of people they were looking for. And it was literally both of their first matches while working with me, and they're going to get married now. So that's one that comes to mind. I mean, when it's a one and done kind of thing, I think, wow, we nailed it. We did our job. They didn't have to do much dating. We delivered what we said we would. Okay. Courtney, I'm going to email you. Courtney Quinlan, CEO at Midwest Matchmaking. Thanks so much for spending some time with us here this morning. Thank you for having me. All right, while finding love might be fun sometimes, it can take a dangerous turn. When we come back, the story of a woman who says she was stalked for 25 years by a man she went on a date with once.
Plus, Omaha police give us some advice on how to stay safe while you're dating. You're watching KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.